So guys, we are going to start tautomerism, and as we promised earlier that we will be going into details of the mechanisms and different types of tautomerisms. So let's start it. So let's start tautomerism. So we can see tautomerism when two compounds which are isomers of each other exist in equilibrium and they are interconvertible. So when two in equilibrium, hence interconvertible. So since the process is in equilibrium, so it is neither forward nor backward. So neither forward nor backward. So as I told earlier, for tautomerism you need two isomers. So you can see tautomerism in the following cases. Tautomerism, that is ketoenol tautomerism, you can have nitro-acynitro tautomerism, you can have nitroso-oxim tautomerism, and you can have cyanide-isocyanide tautomerism. We will mainly discuss ketoenol tautomerism and briefly discuss these three. So ketoenol, as we have guessed already, that is it must have a keto group. One isomer must have a keto group, another must have enol, that is enol comes from in plus ol. In means double bond and ol means OH group. So it is the isomer which contains the double bond with the OH group. That is something like this. So next we have nitro-acynitro tautomerism. So nitro group is, this is nitro, and acynitro is NOH. There will be a double bond here, so this is acynitro. And for nitroso-oxim, we have nitroso is NO and oxim is NOH, double bond, this one, oxim, this one is nitroso. And cyanide, isocyanide, you know that cyanide is CN and isocyanide is NC. And one thing you will notice here, that is in all these three cases, first three cases, we can see that a double bond breaks and some hydrogen transfer is taking place. That is, here there was an unsaturation present, the unsaturation comes here and then H gets added here. Same goes with this, the unsaturation comes here and then H is added here, and same with this. So you can, so let's start with, okay, before starting tautomerism we must focus that tautomerism is very important aspect in isomerism, because in writing reaction mechanisms like that of HVZ, that is Hell-Vollard-Zelensky reaction, and the Beckmann rearrangement and a few other reaction mechanisms, you will need the application of tautomerism. So it's quite interesting. So next we start ketoenol tautomerism, the first type of tautomerism that we have discussed, that is ketoenol tautomerism. So as I told earlier, this will be the tautomerism that is equilibrium between an isomer containing a keto group and an isomer containing an enol group. So let's take an example. So keto group is, this one is a ketone, propanol, and it remains in equilibrium with an enol, that is CH2 COH CH3. So if you check the formula for both, the molecular formula remains same. So these two are isomers, as well as these two are in equilibrium with each other, so they are tautomers of each other. So as I told previously, you can see that what if you try to remember in an easy way, you can remember this trick, that this double bond here, it shifts here, and one alpha hydrogen, this is the alpha carbon with respect to this carbonyl carbon, this one is the alpha. So this one is the alpha carbon. So you need a catalyst, H plus or OH minus, for this reaction, and this one is the alpha carbon. So you can remember it in this trick, that is, you will shift the unsaturation here. So this unsaturation shifts here, and you take an alpha carbon and shift it here. So you can see it, one alpha carbon goes here. This is just a trick, it is not the actual case. And now when we discuss the reaction mechanism, we will understand it in detail. As we discussed the ketoenol tautomerism, so what is the basic requirement for ketoenol tautomerism to take place? For ketoenol tautomerism, you will require for ketoenol tautomerism to take place, you must have at least one alpha hydrogen, that is, so you must have at least one alpha hydrogen, that is, you must have at least one alpha carbon and at least one alpha hydrogen attached to it. So this is the basic need for tautomerism. Without the presence of alpha hydrogen, the ketoenol tautomerism does not take place. Even in the presence of alpha hydrogen, we will see that in some cases this ketoenol tautomerism will not take place. So we will discuss them later when we go into more details. For the time being, we will discuss the reaction mechanism, how this conversion takes place. H plus OH minus. So how this conversion takes place from the keto isomer to the enol isomer, we will discuss that. So there are two paths by which you can convert this keto to enol, and hence two reaction mechanisms. One is for acid catalyzed tautomerism, another is the base catalyzed tautomerism. Base catalyzed tautomerism. So let's go with the example we have taken. Mechanism, acid catalyzed tautomerism. Let's go with the example we have taken, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. To this we add an acid. So what happens is that oxygen has two lone pairs, so it acts as Lewis base, and it will take up this hydrogen, CH3 OH. This becomes positive, one lone pair is still present. The next step is, now oxygen is electronegative and a positive charge is present on it. So what it will try to do is pull the whole of the electron cloud towards itself and become neutral, while carbon will be deficient of electrons and become a carbocation. So after this, what happens is, this is a canonical form, so you can write it in this way. So what we get? We get a carbocation, which is an intermediate. Now from conversion of this step to this step, we get an intermediate carbocation. So higher will be the stability of this carbocation, higher will be the rate of the reaction. So this step from this one to this one depends upon the stability of this carbocation. So carbocation is formed, and after this, what happens is that we can see that this carbocation is present, and we will see that water will pick up this acidic alpha hydrogen. This one is acidic alpha hydrogen. But we must note one thing: water is a weak base, so how can it just take away this acidic alpha hydrogen? So what is the factor behind this? The factor is actually hyperconjugation, which we have not discussed yet. We will discuss later, after, as I have told on the previous lecture, that after isomerism I will get into that hyperconjugation and the factors affecting a chemical reaction. So it is the hyperconjugation which is the compelling factor here. You can see that these are in conjugation. So when hyperconjugation takes place, this bond is, a double bond is formed here and it becomes stable. So there are 3 alpha hydrogens with respect to this carbon. So hyperconjugation takes place. So next step is, this bond goes here and it becomes CH2 double bond, COH, CH3. The propanone gets in equilibrium with its isomer CH2OH, CH3. So what are these two? These two are functional isomers of each other. We discussed the previous day, and we also gave an example in which an aldehyde is a functional isomer of an unsaturated alcohol. So in this case we see that this ketone is a functional isomer of this unsaturated alcohol, and also they are tautomers to each other. So next we discuss the base catalyzed tautomerism.